Hello and welcome to the channel, everybody. Today I want to talk about sim versus arcade. Just what is the difference? Or at least to me. In one of my previous videos, why Project Cars 3 is going to be good, a lot of people have been calling it arcade or simcade or something along those lines, simply because uh, you can do up your cars, you can do a bit of street racing, things like from what I can see. But for me, that doesn't necessarily make it arcade. So, for instance, Need for Speed Heat. It can be a fun game, at least for a little while. You could roam around the streets, do some races, modify your car, put some NOS on it, change all sorts of stuff, modify it. This really is an arcade game. It's not what I would call a sim in any way. When you're trying to maneuver the car around the streets and corners and all that, it does not feel like a sim in any way. The way I move the steering wheel and all that, the way the car responds, it just is no way near what a sim is or should be. But again, I'm not knocking this game. I think it's a bit of fun. And I actually don't mind this kind of thing. As a bit of a relaxing thing, sim racing can get a bit full on sometimes. And it could be just good to relax and do a bit of fun stuff on Need for Speed Heat. But that doesn't necessarily mean that if this game had a lot better physics and the way the car moved and felt, and it was a lot more like, let's say, Project Cars 2 or Assetto Corsa Competizione or anything like that, then in my opinion, this would actually be closer to a sim, because sim stands for simulation. And just because you're doing street racing and modifying your car and things like that is actually doable in real life. So I think with the right engine and the right physics behind this game, it could nearly turn into a sim. But it isn't. Obviously, most hardcore sims uh, actually have a good online mode, and you can race other people online, compete against one another, and be quite competitive. And it's just a little bit more serious. Much like, let's say, Assetto Corsa Competizione. Now, Assetto Corsa Competizione has its own little career mode, championship mode, quick race. It has a bit of an online community, not as much as, let's say, iRacing, but it's still there. The physics of the game are much closer to sim than some of the other games, like Need for Speed Heat, let's say. In some ways, I think the physics of Assetto Corsa Competizione is actually better than iRacing, especially the tyre model. And this title, I would have to say, is a lot more sim and not really much arcade. You have full-blown race cars on full-blown race tracks, and you're competing for the number one spot on the podium. And of course, you can do it online with other people as well, and it can get a bit more serious. You got all safety ratings and all that, similar to iRacing, so you don't want to hit other people necessarily in this game because it penalizes you for it. You don't want to go off track, you want to be consistent, etc., etc. So it's Assetto Corsa Competizione is a lot more of a sim because you actually do get penalized. So it can be a little bit more stressful, and that's kind of what a sim is. Sim is trying to get as close to real life as possible, unlike in Need for Speed Heat, where you want to just slam into someone to kind of get them off the track. It doesn't really matter. It's still a bit of fun. But iRacing and Assetto Corsa Competizione, I think, is more I'm here for business. And for me, just because Project Cars 3 does have a bit of street racing in it, I guess you could say, and you can modify your car. That doesn't necessarily make it arcade. For me, you can still have a full-blown sim that can do that as well. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. That's what sim versus arcade means to me. I'm not going to say that there is a right and wrong answer to what sim and arcade is. I think it's more of what it is to you. And so I can't tell you what is and is not sim or arcade. But for me, the physics of the game is largely what makes it sim or arcade. How serious the game is there all the penalty points and all that? Does it penalize you for hitting someone and all that? That's more sim. And I feel like Project Cars 3 still has all the fundamentals of a sim. Obviously, it's not out yet, so I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Project Cars 3 is still going to be a sim, at least for me. So thanks for watching this video, everybody. Comment down below what arcade or sim is for you. Hit that like button if you liked it. Subscribe for more videos, and I will see you in the next video.